do you feel like, you said Monday was good. How do you feel like practice
I think it
overall?
was good. You know, we're into Wednesday now, and we got all our stuff in. It seemed like a good practice. You know, just checking on the health of a couple of our guys yet, Levante and Joshua James. At least they're out here and they're doing some stuff, so maybe they got a chance to play.
Now that you guys have seen Falk, the new
Yeah.
quarterback, on tape, just how do you kind of compare him to Connor Halliday?
Well, you know, it's we saw Connor over a long period of time, but this guy is a good talent, and he is, you know, obviously well versed in their system. So that's a pretty good combination. He looks effective. He looks like a good player, and he threw for a lot of yards against the Trojans. The other part of this team nobody talks about. Their defense is pretty salty now. This is a much better defensive front than we played against a week ago, and they play aggressive defense. They're actually, even with, you know, not having won many games, they're actually pretty good shape in the Pac-12 rankings defensively. This is a pretty salty group.
Even without Halliday, you know, they still are a very pass-heavy team. What do you think the defense should be expecting on Saturday?
Well, I think that, you know, you certainly don't want a team that is very good at passing to get their running game going. So it sounds funny because they're going to maybe throw 70 times in the game, but you can't let any of that start happening. I've actually seen the Cougars, like when I was watching Cal's defense, watch them play, and they actually had some nice runs in the game. So we just don't want that going on, along with what you have to do defending the pass, which means pass rush and good sound coverage. Those things have to work together. You know, you can't let this be a game like pass skeleton against this team because they're really good. You better get some pressure from time to time on the quarterback. And you can't always do it by blitzing. Somebody's got to win and disrupt the quarterback's timing. Their timing is unbelievable. They have the greatest timing passing game that I've seen in the league, maybe ever. It's very impressive, except when you have to play it. So they do an unbelievable job with that.
With that, trying to disrupt that timing, you say the pass rush is you know, the corners, you know, trying to jam at the line of scrimmage. Is that going to be a huge key as well, just trying to get those receivers?
You know, the coverages will be mixed up.
Yeah.
You know, that some coverages call for tighter press coverage, and some call for not. You know, if you're playing some zones underneath, I don't think you play against the Cougars and sit in one look and let them get a beat on you. They are too good for that, and so, you know, that's a good point. You've got to have an assortment of blitzes and an assortment of coverages and mix them in and be effective, and in all of them, like I said, try to get pressure and try to be in really good position coverage-wise.
You mentioned that they have a better pass rush than maybe what you guys saw last week, and you were encouraged by the offensive line. There have been some tweaks with Gavin moving to guard. Just how do you think that unit has looked so far this week?
Well, you know, it's both encouraging to me. You know, Roman had a reason he's not in there right now, but he's getting better, and I think he's got the clearance to continue playing, but he had some of those neck stinger problems. So, and Gavin coming back is kind of a natural fit right in there. So the problem is, you know, he hasn't played there a lot, ever. And, you know, but Cav does a nice job of teaching the linemen concepts. So they, you know, always through our career here, those guys have been interchangeable. Isaac has played center guard and tackle, and Andy DeVitri did. I don't know if Andy ever played center, but he actually played a little tight end. And Grant Anger last year played guard and tackle. So because they learn the system, they can, hopefully we can smoothly change it up and put him in there if need be, and that would be good.
Against Cal, you zeroed in on third down conversions as a reason for inconsistency on the offensive side of the ball, but also, you know, it was a reason on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the fourth quarter. Cal was able to convert 11 of 19. How do you take that?
Well, I think that's a big part of the game. You know, it's a major emphasis. From the time you start the spring ball, you have third down periods because it's so important to, defensively to get them off the field and offensively to sustain drives. It's probably our biggest problem offensively. It's not that we can't do some good stuff. We have to be able to have more shots at it, more plays, and you really get that by converting third down.
This is also a little off topic, bear with me, but with the measure of marijuana passing, I know it's still against NCAA rules, but are you going to have a talk with the team at all about it?
We already did, prior to the vote.
How did that conversation go?
One-sided.
Coach,
Well, the fact of the matter is it is still, there are still rules that will disqualify players through the NCAA. So, legal or not, that's not going to change today.
Coach, correct me if I'm wrong, at one point this season, did you say that there was a home game where you thought Reeser was louder, or one of the loudest times you had heard Reeser in your career at OSU?
Did I? I don't remember saying that.
Okay. Maybe not. Or has there been just your overall feel?
I think it's awesome. I think it, and it's been, Steve might know, it was described in some magazine, they listed top 10 home team environments, and Reeser was listed. And I don't necessarily know if it was about noise, but just overall environment. So I think it's noisy, and it ranks up there probably pretty high in our league when it's cranking as one of the noisier places. So we appreciate that.
Do you like having the students right behind the bench?
Yeah, I do. I would like them behind the other bench better, but there's a rule about that.
Mike, I think you touched on the bowl eligibility situation earlier in the week, but how important is it for a program to get to a bowl game for the young guys and for the older guys?
Yeah, I think I've always said this. It's just, first of all, for us, we love football and we get to do it longer. And it's a really good extended period. You can almost get as many practices as you do in spring ball. So the practice for the future program is always good, and you miss that if you're not in a bowl game. That's happened to us a couple times. So, we know what that's like. And then, it's just also good to be included in the bowl picture, frankly, to be that team that is a bowl team. And that's the way you'd like to have part of your identity be.